Within 2 months, we had to sell everything that we had and leave our beloved family behind. We had to say goodbye to our fur babies, and to say that it was excruciatingly painful would be a total understatement. But as with every great story told and every adventure explored, no journey starts off easy. And in the end, you won't know what beauty lies ahead if you don't try. So we had set our vision, we had greeted the mountains, and off we went to our family into the great unknown. Little did we know what we would explore, what we would find, and what would lie ahead. But as long as we had each other, everything would be all right in the end.
We're moving to Panama, and OP said yes to take care of my favorite dog place. It's right there. And we're moving to Panama, I think, in 3 days.
So here we are at Ampath, ready for our COVID tests. We're flying out tomorrow. JD boy. We're flying tomorrow evening, and none of us have had COVID tests before, so we're a little bit nervous, but I think everything's going to go smoothly. We're all feeling healthy and strong, and we're looking forward to getting onto the aeroplane and heading out.
Are you scared for your test, my big boy?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you know how they test you?
No. I'm thinking that they're going to just pull out a needle and inject me. My giant cookie.
Are you excited or are you scared?
I'm kind of scared and excited.
Do you like the airport?
And I'm actually kind of sad because my dog place is at Omi's house.
How big do you think the airplane is?
Probably as big as the restaurant. Probably.
The paperwork. Oh my goodness. Well, sure, we are at Istanbul. We just got some refreshments. It's really hot here now. I can feel that the air conditioner is on, but it's still cooking. The one thing I'm battling with, besides all the heavy luggage and lack of sleep, is these things on the masks, these guys. They're hurting my ears so badly. It feels like I've got orthodontic braces on my ears trying to move them or something. It's really painful, but I'll survive.
So that was flipping difficult, and we've only done flight 1. 8.5 hours, so the next one is 16 hours. We're at Istanbul at the moment. There's like absolutely no social distancing. So coming from South Africa, we're so aware of COVID and social distancing. Being like shoved into a line where people are literally like standing against your back and standing in front of you was like the most horrible thing. Poor Jade was so freaked out. The flight went okay. Bella was a little bit difficult in the beginning, but then she settled and she slept, but she was about the only one that slept. The rest of us were all awake. And
I found this new game. And it was really fun.
we're all a bit sore from carrying our hand luggage. I've got hectic vertigo, but hopefully
And
that
you've
will go away
never
soon.
been
I've
in
taken
a
some
plane.
peppermint
There's a
oil.
little screen in front of your seat.
Jade at least was able to play games and watch some movies. So we're just waiting to see where we need to go to board for our next flight.
Okay.
So let's start at the beginning. We left on Saturday, 2 o'clock. We arrived at the airport. And I don't know if it was due to the riots or if it was because of COVID, but some of the entrances were closed. So it took us a while to figure out where exactly we had to go park and where we had to be for internationals, getting a trolley for all our baggage, and then from there heading into the airport. So I have to say South Africa airport was quite on it with like social distancing and sanitizer everywhere, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really, we felt safe and there were not a lot of people around. And so we wrapped our bags and we booked in our luggage, and we were so relieved when we actually did that, because we were quite afraid that we were going to be overweight, because we have sold absolutely everything that we owned the last 2 months, which was quite an ordeal. And so we ended up with 7 bags.
7 big bags and
7 big bags and 15 articles all in all, which includes like guitars and ukuleles and cameras and backpacks and all of that. So for us, like, if you have any idea what our house looked like to what we've ended up with, we've like totally become minimalism. And the thing is, in our bags, we hardly have any clothes. We have pedals, we have cables, we have instruments, we have toys, we have essential oils and diffusers and jewelry, but hardly any clothes. But hopefully we won't need too many items of clothing, because it will be quite hot here, and we'll just buy whatever we need. Okay, so what instruments do we have? We have 1 big guitar. We have a violin for Jade, we have a violin for Denzel, we have an electric violin for Denzel, an acoustic violin for Denzel, we have an Irish flute, we have a marimba, we have
mbira actually.
imbira. What else do we have?
We have 2 panpipes. And a charango.
A chirango and a ukulele.
And we've got a jaw harp as well somewhere.
Yeah, so we have like quite a lot of instruments, but we're going to have to depend on the music to provide an income for us. Yeah, say hi. Hola. Hola, baby. Yeah. Okay, so flight number 1. Alright, so we had booked in our luggage, and we were so relieved because we were underweight with all of our luggage, even after wrapping it. One of the suitcases was 23.1 kilograms, but they let us through. But the rest of them were all underweight, so we were really lucky. But we still ended up with heavy hand luggage, and carrying instruments, and carrying a baby, and like our muscles were like really South Africa, all of that. They put us through with the air hostesses and the captain's book in, so they were like really helpful with that. And we checked in our luggage, and then we got out quicker than the other
By
people.
the way, there's a balcony below us.
Yeah. So then we got to the boarding gate after a very long, far walk. But I have to say, like, our airport is actually very beautiful. But anyway, then we ended up into the boarding gate, and everybody was ready to board. And they were like a lot of people. All the people like ready for the plane they were already there. And then they shoved everybody out. They chased everybody away and said that everybody needs to bring their passports.
What the frick, man? Sorry about that, vloggers. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry.
So everybody like got moved out of the area where we were going to board. And so luckily, once again, they were very kind, and they let everybody with kids go first. So they first did business class, and then they did the people with kids. So we were one of the first ones to board into the plane. So that got us a bit of time to just sort out our hand luggage and put all of that away. Put some oil on the kids' ears to help with air pressure for liftoff and so on. And so then we were ready for our first flight, and we were very lucky because we had an infant seat. So if Bella had fallen asleep, I was able to put her down. But she was extremely difficult the first 2.5 hours of the flight, and then she eventually fell asleep, and she slept throughout for the 8.5-hour flight. But that flight was like really easy. It went super quickly. We were not able to sleep, but it didn't feel that long. Like, it really felt like quite quick.
And that flight was very empty. There was lots of open seats.
Sorry, we don't know how to edit.
Yeah, there was a lot of space. JD Boo didn't sleep, and so by the end of the flight he was extremely tired and a bit sad. But anyhow, then we got off at Istanbul, and immediately I could feel my vertigo set in. I was very unstable on my feet, and we were very tired, and it was like 10 to 5 in the morning that we landed the next morning, on Sunday morning at Istanbul. We got off the flight, and we were like, wow, this airport is so quiet. There's like hardly any people around. So we went to the bathroom, had a nappy change, and then like nothing could have prepared us for what happened next. Like, we came in and all the international flights have to go through one hand luggage. What do you call it? Check. Like all the international flights. Absolutely no social distancing whatsoever. There's like hundreds, if not thousands of people like standing on top of you, touching your hand luggage, trying to touch the kids, like, and we're like, just like, Jade burst into tears. He's like, he's so scared he gets COVID. Coming from South Africa, we were so used to social distancing, and then ending up in something like that was really like shocking and not nice whatsoever. But there was one very helpful gentleman that got us through with the check-in of our luggage. He helped us very quickly, and so like once you're out, then it's better because everybody sort of disperses. And we had some water, and we got a, what do you call it? Battery pack to charge our devices. And then we went to the gate where we had to board, and then it was the same story again. Everybody right on top of everybody else, no social distancing, waiting for a while to actually board the plane. And this was going to be our long flight.
Four.
Yeah.
So we only had 3 seats. We didn't have an extra seat for Bella. So Mama over here was very brave and did extremely well, but it was tough. And it was... I must say they sent people in, that was later, to clean the plane, but the plane was not very clean. I must say there was, it was a little bit shocking to see, because they advertised that they sanitize everything and whatever, but when we actually landed in Colombia and we saw how they cleaned the plane, it was done very quickly and it looked like it was quite efficient, but there was not any sanitizing of the touch screens or anything like that. And there was a woman with a family in front of us who found old masks in the front compartments and lying on the floor underneath the seats. So it was a little bit hectic, I must say, to be on a flight that is not clean. So we just sanitized all the touch screens and tried to sanitize with wipes as much as we could, because with Bella, she just wants to put everything in her mouth and she just wants to suck on everything, like on the screens and the seats and whatever. So we were a little bit nervous with that kind of thing. But the flight was so long. I thought it was going to be quicker and go quicker and whatever, and we just kept looking at each other and thinking, is this ever going to end? We've got 8 hours left, and then we think that it's nearly finished, and we look again and it's only 6 hours still to go, and then 4 hours, and then it was crazy.
Yeah, I think the worst for me was it's going to be a long flight and you're trying to prepare yourself psychologically for it, but because we've been traveling like from Clarence to Joburg, and then we were there, and I was traveling every day to go and say goodbye to family and trying to sort out the last of our papers, and so like it really just felt like such a long travel. But then also with the long flight, like I remember it felt like we had been flying for 8 hours, and when we looked it wasn't even 4 hours. It was like you went into a time loop. And also like when we got onto the plane, they immediately dimmed the windows so you couldn't see outside whether it was daytime or not, because we were flying back into time. And then also they dimmed all the lights, and I suppose it's because it's such a long flight to keep everybody calm and to help people sleep during the flight or whatever. But that was horrible, because you can see on the screen in front of you, if you look at my flight and you look at the cameras that's going out of the plane, you can see it's daytime outside, but you have no reference of that. You have no idea what the time is.
We were wide awake.
Yeah, and we were wide awake. Bella, like she slept for like 2 or 3 hours straight the first bit of the flight, but after that she didn't sleep again, and so that was like quite hectic. And Jade actually managed to sleep a bit, and he was lying behind myself and Bella, and Denzel was like squashed up, like trying with Bella, because like it was such a small space for each one of us to be, and then Bella was on top of that, and we couldn't let her crawl because we had turbulence a lot of the time, and also it felt like the plane was like at an angle like this whole time, and also because of the sanitizing whole aspect, like when we booked in and we went onto the airline's website, they had said on there that sanitizer is not allowed because it can be seen as dangerous. So we didn't have any. You get like little sanitizing bags. It's tiny little bottles of sanitizer and like 2 sanitizing wipes, and that's that. We used to sanitizing absolutely everything. So that was like, at some stage you just had to surrender. Like on the airport, I had to eventually put Bella down to crawl because you can't keep her on top of you the whole time, and her body also gets sore. And so that was like really quite a thing. And also like we at least had some, like when we lifted off, we had breakfast. We had something on the first flight when we landed, we had breakfast. And then we had something when we lifted off again and we were able to eat something. But then they didn't help you for the rest of the flight. Like you had to go and ask them, can I please have water? And only until we nearly landed in Colombia again did we actually get something to eat again. So that was also like quite a big thing to get through. And like Denzel said, it just went on and on and on and on.
Nobody came to collect our trash, so we ended up with trash stuffed into everywhere. Eventually I had to go and ask them, and I was taking the empty bottles and all of the plastic and whatever, because for every meal there's so much packaging, plastic, which is actually something that the airlines should look at, because it's just so non-green.
Yeah, not like you are not earth friendly.
No,
Check and tell the people how your flight was.
And so I give it like 4 stars because I had to go through 3. And I've never flown
flights
before.
to get from South Africa to Panama was 3 flights, but you were so brave. Was it your first time flying? Were the air hostesses friendly?
What?
Were the air hostesses friendly?
Kind of.
Did you get to sleep?
No. Not the first plane. I had to play my game. And I was so tired and bummed out that I couldn't sleep with a mask on.
Did you cry a bit?
No.
You were so brave, JD boy.
What did the airport look like?
Really weird. When I got to one place, it looked like the front of a plane.
What was liftoff like? Were you scared?
It felt very weird and yeah.
Was there social distancing at the airport?
No, not at all.
What else can I ask you? What movies did you watch on the plane?
Just Scooby-Doo.
Was there any yummy food on the plane?
Only the broccoli.
Jade ate broccoli for the first time. Such a big boy. Were you sad to say goodbye to Omi and Opie? Okay, we won't talk about that.
Don't, Mom, can we just cut this, okay?
Okay, we'll cut that. Okay, what did the COVID test feel like?
Really weird.
How many COVID tests have
I
you
had
had?
to stuff something down my nose.
How many tests have you had?
Only 2.
And we're having 1 more today.
Wait, what? No. Ah! No,
Okay,
no.
and then what does your hotel room look like? Has it been nice?
Not that much.
Why not?
I just like my window. I like to look out of it.
Oh, there's some pretty awesome skyscrapers.
And what was
Kind
the
of.
food like, JD bro?
What was the food like in the hotel?
1 star.
Are you excited to get out?
Yes.
Do you know where we're going when we get out today?
No, but I do know a hotel with a pool.
Okay,
But I don't know how to swim.
we'll teach you. Is there anything else that you want to tell?
I don't know.
Have you learned any Spanish?
Only a little bit.
Okay. Do you like the language?
camera. Not the camera. Not the...
Okay, so it sounds like we are being extremely negative, but I have to be honest and say that we were really as positive as possible throughout this entire journey. Like the stuff that we are saying is just like our experience, but we had to keep our moods like positive and energized because like we had still a long part of the journey left. So then we landed in Colombia. They did the technical flight. It was like a whole big thing, cleaning the plane, and the lady in front complaining about the sanitizing and whatever, and we really supported her in like standing up for that because that's really something that needed to be addressed. But then we had our flight to Panama, which was the quickest flight ever. It was like an hour and 10 minutes.
It felt like 15 minutes.
It felt so quick because of liftoff and takedown. And when we came over the ocean, we like freaked out because of the color of the water. That was the first thing that we had noticed. And we're like looking at the camera down below and we're like, oh wow, it's so beautiful. When are we going to see any land? But like to the left of us were all Panama cities, like skyline and scrapers, and we didn't even like realize like the city was right next to us.
And we said, we're such idiots.
Yeah, and then we got off, and then that's when everything happened. Like we got off, and they immediately, because we're from South Africa and we're like a high risk country, immediately put all the South Africans together to go for their COVID tests. And we ended up at the back of the line. And I don't know why, but they decided to take us somewhere else. And like I just turned around and we all just went and we stuck to this one guy. We didn't leave him for 1 second, and we ended up being tested first. So that was amazing. And we got like our test results in 10 minutes. It was so quick. And then we were able to go to immigration after that. So first we went to duty free and we got some rum. And then we headed to go and get our luggage to check through, and that was like quite a thing. Like immediately very few people understood us, and like we didn't learn any Spanish, so it was quite difficult, and it took a long time.
And we had the most luggage of all the South Africans on this trip.
Yeah, everybody that came, like they are coming to apply for the Friendly Nations visa before the changes, and then they're heading back to South Africa, where we came with everything that we have left that is ours. And so it was quite a thing. But like eventually when we got through everything, at that stage Bala was so difficult, like it wasn't even funny. It was really hardcore, and we're all super tired. And one good thing that happened was when we went through customs, like we took so long because we were the only people that they didn't give us a form, and we kept asking them for a form and nobody gave us a form. And so when it was our turn to go through customs, Denzel first had to go back and get a form. But before all of this, like I went to baggage and Denzel went to get a trolley, and luckily we had wrapped all our bags, so it was like really quick to grab our bags. And Denzel had gotten a trolley.
On a plane before, there is no water in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yes, no water.
So there was a very helpful, kind gentleman that helped us pack all our luggage onto one single trolley, and so that was much easier. So eventually we got through customs, and then they like kept us all like in an enclosed area while we were waiting to be escorted to our hotels. So that took quite a little while, but not too long. And then we ended up in our van with the police, and we waited quite a while to eventually be escorted to where we were going. So we didn't have any idea where we were going. Jade had fallen asleep. He was so tired. Like I was worried about him because he didn't want to wake up. Oh, shit. And we had our first experience of Panama City, which was awesome. It looked beautiful and clean and tidy and
Except
safe.
for New York.
Yeah, it was a bit weird because we drive on the left-hand side of the road in South Africa, so I kept panicking, thinking that there was
on the
oncoming
wrong
traffic.
side, yeah.
So that took a little bit of getting used to. But and it was hot.
Yeah, and then like the whole that whole period of time since we landed 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we actually landed before 5 o'clock, we were like earlier with our flight, that we landed in Panama City until the time that we booked into our hotel room 11 o'clock in the night. That was like a more than 6 hour duration, but that felt like 2. Like once again, our sense of time was just completely warped. And so we were absolutely like beyond exhausted, and we just like dropped into the beds and fell asleep. Yeah. And then the State Hotel experience?
What's that?
Well, it's for free, which for us to save a bit of extra cash helps, you know. It's nothing it's not very fancy, but it was clean, and the food was for free. The food was not fantastic, but it was enough to keep us sustained, and there was more than enough, let's put it that way. We ended up having to throw away quite a lot of food. So I think, yeah, it was fun. This process of going to a free government hotel we were the last people to be offered this. From now on, this is not going to be offered to anybody. So from that aspect, we're very lucky that we managed to do what we did. Otherwise, it would have cost us quite a bit more, a big chunk. So we didn't mind roughing it a bit just to save some extra cash.
So at the moment we are waiting for our third and final COVID test, and then we will be able to get out, and we can't wait to just take a breath of fresh air, because we haven't been able to open any window. We've been relying on the aircon to like help with a bit of fresh air, and yeah, I think we're just excited to get out.
Fresh air, can't wait.
Today's the first day that we feel sort of human again. We like really like not as tired. We are still tired. Last night we slept better than any of the other nights before, so our bodies are slowly like changing into the new daytime, nighttime aspect. And yeah.
Yeah, we've been suffering a little bit from vertigo, from motion, and I don't know whether you'd call it motion sort of sickness or just effects from that, the inner ear kind of stuff. So when we got off the plane, we felt like everything was still moving around, and that lasted for a couple of days. So I think today for me is the first day that it's been better. I think Genevieve is still a little bit feeling it. But yeah, that was pretty weird. It feels like if you get off a trampoline or something, if you've been jumping on it for a long time, it feels like you're still in that mode. Yeah, but anyway, we're better now.
So we'll keep you up to date. Adios.
Adios, amigos!
Ciao. Okay, so we just got a call from reception saying that when we are ready, we can let them know. So we let them know we're ready. And we're just waiting for our driver that will transport us from the State Hotel to our booked hotel. And so we are just so grateful and ready to finally explore Panama.
Are you kidding me?
Freedom!
Heyo. Heyo.
The Keenan Pixies.